welcome back to your social studies class. I hope you all have enjoyed your summer vacation. So this is the time to get back to your studies. So we are going to start the third chapter of our social and political life. Why do we need parliament? So in the previous chapters we have discussed that what is constitution and what does constitution do for all of us. We also have discussed in our second chapter that what is secularism, how secularism help all the people of India to freely they can choose their religion they want to choose. They can freely perform the religious activities that they want to perform, and the government will not interfere in the religious activities performed by the different group of people. In the previous chapters we have also discussed that our India has a democracy in which there is no interference by the government. The government will not take advantage of using only one religion and discriminating the other one. So the religion is free in democratic country. So now we are going to discuss that the laws which are made by the government are enforced by the government for all the people. So all these laws and the decision making process are taken on in the institution which is known as parliament. That is the reason behind that we need parliament. So ideas of participation in decision making and consent of citizens best expressed in institution called parliament. So when we are taking the ideas of the people which are indirectly participating in the decision of government and also considering the consent of citizens, we all need a place to discuss about all these things. So the best institution which is used for this purpose is called parliament. So in this chapter we will discuss that how parliament help in the participation of citizens and how parliament help in making and controlling of government. So this is your chapter which is about the different participation of the people of our India, how they can participate in the working and making of government. We will discuss all these things in this chapter. Yes, now starting with our first topic, why should people decide? As we know that our India is a democratic country, so we all want that we have a people-centric government. People-centric government means where people have given the right that they can participate in the decision-making process of government. So that's why we have given some powers to the people that they can decide that what type of government is to be chosen by them. We all know that the participation of the people of India is shown when the elections are held in our India. So when the elections are being conducted in India, the citizens cast their votes and elect the representative that they want to choose. So that's why we call that our country have a people-centric government in which the decision-taking authority is given to the people, because we does not want that type of government which is controlled or managed by only one dictator. So that's why we have given the powers or right to the people so that they can take the decision. As we know that our India has got independence on 15th August 1947. So before getting independence, we all know that we have seen so much discrimination by the Britishers when the Indians are not allowed to participate in the decision making process of the government. All of us does not have a right to vote in the election process. So the people of India before independence were very afraid from the Britishers, because they does not have a right to criticize the working of the government, because the government was formed by the Britishers in which Indians does not interfere in any matter. So when we got independence, we made our India a country in which the people can participate in the working of government. If we have given power to the government, it does not mean that government will not consider the needs and demand of the people. The government have to consider the needs and demand of the people because the government is chosen by the people. So, when we got independence, we have made our India a democratic country in which people can participate in decision making and can also interfere in the working of government and can also criticize the working of government if they find out that the working of government is not in the favor of people. That's why we have given power to the people that they can decide that which representative they want to choose, and they will choose only that representative which will fulfill all the demands for the benefit of the people. So this was our first topic, that why should people decide, because our India wanted to have a people-centric government in which people can decide, people can have a power to participate in the decision making process of government, because our India does not want that type of government which is controlled or managed by only one dictator. So now we will move on to our second topic, which is people and their representatives. Yes, before moving to the next topic, which is people and their representative, I want to discuss with you that in 1885, Indian National Congress demands for the elected members in the legislature. So, who are the legislators? Legislatures is a body which make laws. So, Indian National Congress demanded that there should be election process, and through election process, one representative should be chosen who can make the law. Because before election, the person who is chosen for making the law is not elected by the people of the country. So the Indian National Congress in 1885 demanded to have elected representative for making the law. So in year 1909, India Act was passed in which the representative were chosen who can make the law, but at that time only some people have voting right. All adults does not get the voting right to cast their votes. So when India got independence, we have made one rule which is known as universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise, in which the adults who are of 18 years of age or above can cast their vote in the election process. Now moving towards the second topic of this chapter, people and their representatives. Yes, students, now moving on to our second topic, which is people and their representative, right? So, before understanding this concept, we should know that what are the consent or permissions or approval required by the citizens. So, the idea of consent includes desire, approval, and participation of people. As we know that people is given the supreme power in democracy. When we are talking about a democratic country, people or citizens are considered the supreme part of a democracy. So for a government or any public administration, they all must have a trust of the citizens. If they want to continue their work in the economy, they must have the consent of the citizens, or we can say the trust of the citizens. So the trust of the citizens are shown with the help of choosing the representative, and we know that representative is chosen through the process of election. The representatives are chosen who belongs to different political party, and the party which is in majority, that is called the winning party or a majority party, is responsible for making the government. So in the first topic we have discussed that why should people decide. In that we discussed that people decide that what type of representative they want to choose, what are the different characteristics they want to have in that elected representative. So in the next we have discussed that people and their representative, as we know that people have given the most powerful, given maximum power in a democratic country. So the people can participate by choosing the representative. So the representative is chosen only when the government or public administration have the trust of the citizens. So the citizens show their interest or their trust by choosing a representative through a election process, which as we know that different representatives are from different political party. So the maximum representative chosen from one party is known as the winning party or majority party, and that majority party is responsible for making the government. Yes, students, moving on to our next topic, which is the role of parliament. As we know that parliament is created after 1947. So the parliament is an expression of faith of the people of India. As we know that India is a democratic country in which the maximum power has been given to the people. So the faith of the people is shown in the expression which is known as parliament. Because why we call it a expression of faith of people? Because it is representative of people. As we know that people choose their representative, and these representatives become the member of parliament after the procedure of elections in Lok Sabha. So before explaining the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, I want to discuss the structure of parliament with all of you. The parliament is divided into two houses. One is called upper house and second one is called lower house. The other name for these houses is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. The other name for Lok Sabha is also the House of People, and the other name for Rajya Sabha is Council of States. So this is your homework that you all have to perform. You have to find out some information about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and how many members are there in Lok Sabha and how many members are there in Rajya Sabha. After what time period the elections are being conducted in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, this you all have to find out. So I am giving you some election information from your book on page number 35. On page number 35, you can see that this is a list of MPs that are chosen by the people as their representative in the election process. So this is the result of 17th Lok Sabha election, which was conducted on May 2019. Here you can see that there are different political parties who participate in the election procedure, and these are chosen by the people in the election process. So in this you can see that the maximum number of representatives chosen from the political party is Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP). So 303 MPs are chosen from Bharatiya Janata Party by the people, and from Indian National Congress 52 representatives are chosen by the people. From Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam 24 candidates or representatives chosen by the people. So this is a list of different political parties from different areas, from different constituencies, from which the representatives are chosen by the people. So here we can see that the maximum number of representatives chosen by the people is from Bharatiya Janata Party. So we can say that this political party is in majority. That means this party is also known as majority party, and we know the party which is in majority has the power to make the government. So next on page number 36, you also have the result of 15th Lok Sabha, which was conducted on May 2009. Here is also a list of different MPs which are chosen by the people in the election process. Here you can say that Bahujan Samaj Party, the members choose, the representative choose from this party is 21. From Bharatiya Janata Party, the number of MPs choose are 116, and from Indian National Congress, the number of representatives choose is 206. So in 15th Lok Sabha election, the majority party who gets maximum representative chosen by people is Indian National Congress. So the majority party has the authority to make the government. So during the 17th Lok Sabha, Bharatiya Janata Party is in majority, and in 15th Lok Sabha elections, the Indian National Congress Party is in majority. So as we know that in Lok Sabha the elections are conducted once in every 5 years. So in every once in every 5 years, different political parties participate to become a government who can make the laws and execute the laws for the benefit of the people. So now the work that you all have to do, the one is you have to find out the information about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The second thing that you all have to do, that there is an activity for all of you on page number 35. Here you can see that there is a photograph on page number 28 on the starting of your chapter. On page number 28, sorry, this. On page number 28, this is a photograph. These are the election results for Lok Sabha. So these are some questions that have been asked from all of you. Which state has the highest number of MPs in the Lok Sabha? Why do you think this is so? So you have to find out that what in which state the maximum number of MPs are there, and which state has the least number of MPs. You also have to find out from this photograph which political party has won the most seats in all states, and which party do you think will form the government, give reason why. So this is your work that you all have to do in your homework for this chapter. I hope you all understand the chapter. Chapter mainly focus on the working of a parliament, in which government is chosen by the people, representative is chosen by the people who have got the maximum power in a democracy, and the representative chosen by the people can govern the government and make the laws for the benefit of the people. Thank you, students, and